Beatles, beatbox, boop, 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 comic box, not beatbox. I was gonna call it beatbox originally, so it could be like boop, choo, boop, choo, boop, choo, boop, choo, boop, choo. But it's just comic box instead of beatbox, because I'm not really good at beatboxing. But I've started streaming. I haven't seen me pop up on Twitch yet, but I've definitely started. So we're gonna wait for some people to jump in. I will tweet out the links now before everyone is in, because I never do that. I always do it wrong. I always wait till everyone's in and then make everybody stop and wait for me. No waiting today, jumping straight in, because it is so late. Boom, 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 boom. Tweeted out, Instagrammed out, Facebooked out, everywhere. That means you guys can share it and stuff. Or if you're watching this on YouTube right now, oh, somebody's here. Hey, Lion Mask, how's it going? You have arrived. Let's see if I'm up on Twitch yet. If I can see myself pop up. If I give it the old refreshies. And mute it so I don't blast in your guys' ear. Yep. There I am. We are definitely streaming. Hey everybody. How's it going? Welcome. Please. Let me be the first to welcome you, and probably only welcome you right now, because nobody else is on screen, but you guys can welcome each other, I guess. I'm pretty good as well. Thank you. I hope you guys like seeing yourself on screen, a little chat box with me. It's mostly for the YouTubers, people who watch this later on, so they can see what everybody's talking about. Maybe I should have chose a different color than blue to make you guys there. Yeah, maybe I should have chose a different color. Because I'm just now noticing that you're popping up on other Beetle back there, Pinata Beetle. So let me go move Pinata Beetle so that y'all can see everything. Let's just get him out of the way completely. We'll put him back here. Got my Supermans on. Wrong leg. Got my Supermans on. Sorry, got my Supermans on. I realized I didn't have a microphone that whole time. Got my Supermans on because it's Wednesday. It's 10 p.m. here where I am, where most of you bugs are, probably a lot later. I'm going to be honest. Didn't think this through a whole lot. Maybe we'll change it, maybe we'll not. We'll see how many people show up and how many people are good with it. But welcome to the Wednesday stream. And I am super excited. You should be too, because this is Beetle's Comic Box. I've talked about it a lot. I've been asked about it a lot because I am really into comic books. When are you gonna do a comic book show? It's right now. We're doing it right now. We're doing it every Wednesday here on twitch.tv/SuperBeetleGames. So, 11. It's good. I stay up late anyways. That's good. You probably should sleep in then tomorrow if you stay up late, so that you get your full 8 hours. It works that way. You're supposed to get 8 hours. Says some people. What do they know? Anyways, hey, welcome to Beetle's Comic Box. If you haven't known, I've been saying it all week. We are doing a giveaway at 50 followers. Doing a giveaway. Guess what? We are 1 away from 50. So if I see a little, it should pop up over here. If I see a little zombie following your name over here, boom, 1 subscriber. I keep saying subscribers. They're different things on Twitch. It's weird. 1 more follower, 50 followers. Boom, we'll do the giveaway. And that's exciting. We've only been doing this for realsies a week, and we're almost at 50. Just 1 away. So tweet it out. Tell all your friends. We could probably get 1 by the end of the stream. I believe in us. You should believe in us too. But I hope y'all read comic books, because if not, then this stream is definitely for nothing. Because I read comic books this week, and I'm just going to start with a little preface here. Once wrestling started picking up, I definitely fell out of comic books, just a little bit. I think the last comic I read, probably, besides the Power Ranger ones, I've been keeping up with the Power Ranger ones because, my childhood. But the last comic I actually read was Civil War II. The issue where Hawkeye shot Hulk with a bow and arrow. Maybe the issue after that. Maybe the trial issue. So definitely the issue after that. But that being said, brings us to our first comic. I buried my comics on all of these pillows. Give me 1 second. Brings us to our first comic of the week. Starting out with Marvel here. Probably one of the biggest comics. We'll start with the 2 big ones and then we'll go to the smaller ones. If I haven't explained yet, because I thought I explained. I've been doing it on Twitter all week. We're doing 4 or 5, the top 4 or 5 big comics of the week. I think I did 6 this week. Didn't plan very well, but we're doing the top 4 or 5 comics of the week. So the top comic I would have to say this week, Secret Empire by Marvel. Hey, I'll put it over here so you can see it. Secret Empire. There it is. For those of you who have not been reading, because I haven't, because number 6, Secret Empire number 6, not a good issue to jump in at. You should probably go back and start at number 1. Luckily, I've been the cover art is gorgeous. This is actually a variant cover. I think the regular one has Thor on it, but yeah, look at there. Look at Star-Lord. He's Hydraing it up. There you go. I should probably show it off more. See, we're learning as we go. And if you bugs want me to do something, just tell me, because I'm just gonna keep going. Because there's no video games tonight. I can't rely on that. It's all me. And we'll have guests, obviously, at some point come through here. I just gotta find other comics likers, streamers like myself. I put it over there. I don't know why. Secret Empire number 6. Like I was saying, I have not read a comic book, a Marvel comic, since Civil War II. Since Civil War II. And this book parallels it a lot because it gives you a lot of throwbacks to that. For those of you who have not been reading Secret Empire, the basis of it is that Captain America, for the past 2 years now, I'm going to say 2, maybe it's been 1, for the past couple of years has been a Hydra agent. Undercover, on the down low. Just been a Hydra agent. And Secret Empire is the head of all that. It's him coming out as a Hydra agent. It's him trapping the heroes in separate places. New York is covered in this dome in the dark world, and a bunch of heroes are underground, and a bunch of heroes are trapped in space because there's a dome around the Earth and all this stuff. That's what I got from keeping up, just from reading all the updates and everything. This is the first actual issue I've read. And let me just say, no, don't hail Hydra. Forget that bottom part. Don't hail Hydra. Hydra. There we go. Don't hail Hydra. That's bad. But let me just say, this issue kind of reads like every Marvel event in the past couple of years, and I'm not saying that because it's more of the same, but it definitely throws back to a lot of them. There's a lot of Civil War imagery in it. There's a lot of Secret Wars imagery in it. There's a lot of Planet Hulk imagery in it. And no more of it is obvious than when they take the panels straight from Civil War II and throw it back, because this is the return of the Hulk. And I'm not sure how long ago Civil War II was. I want to say it was probably less than a year ago. But that's when Hulk died, and now he's back again. Cap brought him back. We don't know how. And Captain America basically unleashes him on the last of the underground here. And the real moment, Hulk bashes through the base, I guess you could say, because they were ready for everything. They were ready for Thor. They were ready for Scarlet Witch, who are the Hydra Avengers. They were ready for Vision, who was part of the Hydra Avengers. But they weren't ready for Hulk because he was supposed to be dead. And so he bashes through, and the first thing Hawkeye sees is Hulk. He drops his bow, and he starts doubting himself. He realizes, oh gosh, Hydra Cap was right. This is all our fault. I killed my friend. I did the one thing I promised I wouldn't. I killed my friend. And while all this is going on, Hydra Cap finds Tony, and they start duking it out. We've seen Cap and Tony duke it out maybe 3 or 4 times now in the Marvel Universe. And it's one of the things that a lot of people have issues with, is these heroes fighting heroes. When are heroes going to go back to being heroes? And I remember back to a time when I was reading called the Heroic Age. All is moving everywhere. It is. Everything's going at once. And back in the Heroic Age, that's when they were like, all right, we're going to do stories with heroes fighting the bad guys again. Because up until that, you had Dark Reign, you had Norman Osborn leading everything, which is kind of what we got here. We've got the evil, the bad guys winning, ruling everything. And so it kind of feels like Marvel's been in the same sort of territory for a while. And that's a common complaint they get. And that's a common complaint I have about Marvel. And that is why I was such a big Marvel fan when I was younger. I would read every comic. Guys, back in the day, which was to say 4 or 5 years ago, I was pulling every Marvel comic there was. Because all of them were that good. Matt Fraction on Hawkeye, easily one of my favorite comics runs of all time. The original Runaways, easily my favorite comic of all time. I'm not even gonna front on that. Runaways Volume 1 and 2 are fantastic. And if you've been keeping up with comic news, Runaways is making a TV show. They're coming out with a TV show on Hulu, which is exciting. And there's been a couple leaked trailers here and there, but I think we'll solidly get a trailer this weekend because it is San Diego Comic-Con, and we'll get to that a little later in the show. Anyways, sorry. Back to comics talk. So yeah. Secret Empire number 6. Pick it up if you want to continue the story because it does push stuff along. If you just want to jump in, maybe go back to number 1 and find a couple. You could probably find a bunch of them. And yeah, don't jump in at number 6. That's my short review of that. Press says, I've always meant to read Runaways, but I haven't. I really need to. I did hear about the show, though. Jazzed for it. Absolutely. Runaways, and it's funny because probably one of my favorite characters in Marvel Comics doesn't come until Runaways Volume 2. His name is Victor. Those of you who know him, maybe don't spoil a 7-8-year-old comic. Actually, Runaways is before that. Civil War, 10 years? Yeah. Maybe don't spoil close to a little over a decade-old comic. Let them go read it for themselves. But Runaways, if you haven't picked it up, it is basically about a group of teenagers based out of LA who find out that their parents are a part of a supervillain cult. And at the time I read it, and I know the time a lot of people read it, it just hit all those right teenage beats. You hear about all the John Hughesian things that are happening now. You watch Power Rangers, you watch Spider-Man Homecoming, and those are all trying to be John Hughes movies. Runaways is a John Hughes movie in Marvel Comics, and so it's fantastic. Go check out Runaways Volume 1 and 2, and volumes after that. Just keep going until you don't like it anymore, basically, because a lot of people drop off at Runaways at different spots. Number 2 comic of the week. I put them on the floor, so I'm gonna have to lean down now. Woo. Number 2 comic of the week, which could probably be considered the other big comic of the week of the big 2, the Marvel and the DCs. Batman, number 27, The War of Jokes and Riddles. And like I said, this is my first week back into comic books. I've kept up with them by reading the IGN reviews and everything, but solidly back into comic books. Can I just say, I thought I was going insane while reading this comic, and I think that's kind of the point. There's a part in the comic. First of all, the comic jumps around a lot. It's about Kite Man and the origin of Kite Man, and Tom King has been bouncing around with Kite Man all through his run. And I don't want to say it comes to a head here. This is more of how it came about. But yeah, it feels like you're going crazy because the comic's jumping back and forth, and then at a certain point it clicked in my head, oh no, that's what it's supposed to do because this guy is going crazy. I wasn't expecting to hear about Kite Man tonight. Well, you did. I wasn't expecting to read about Kite Man today, trust me, but this entire story is about Kite Man. Hell yeah. And so what happens is this story is about how Kite Man becomes Kite Man, how he just goes insane, how the war of jokes and riddles is where it happens, how it's affecting normal people around, and this issue obviously focusing on Kite Man. And so it has a good part in there with his son where you're just like, oh, this guy he's one of those dads. Everybody knows those dads, and he's kind of one of those where he's with his son and he's like, man, I can't make it to your birthday party. I'm sorry. I got a meeting. Turns out the meeting is with the Joker. Turns out the meeting was set up by Batman for him to meet the Joker, for him to get a little closer. And Dizzy says, I don't think I even know who he is. Sorry, I don't know everyone in the Batman universe. I've only recently dove into comics because I was a little sheltered. It's totally okay. These are the kinds of comics that introduce you to these characters and introduce you the right way to these characters. I know that Kite Man was just kind of, if you read earlier Tom King issues, he's just kind of there. And this is where you can start and go back, and all those other appearances make a lot more emotional sense. You're like, oh, that's Kite Man. I know his story. I know what happens. It resonates with you a lot more. And it turns Kite Man from kind of a joke in this past run to a very, very tragic character. And as this is Beetle's Beatles comic box. I keep calling it Beatles Beatbox because that's what I almost named it. Then I decided I wasn't that great at beatboxing, so we just call it the comic box. As this is the comic box, spoilers affray everywhere. The Kite Man's son, before he is Kite Man's son is killed by the Riddler. And he's killed in such a way that it takes a good memory that Kite Man had with his son and just perverts it and turns it such in a different way that the name Kite Man is no longer just this random name. It's no longer just, oh, that's a random villain created. Kite Man means something. It means something to this man. Obviously, his name's Charles Brown. And it means something to the Riddler, and it means something to Batman, and it means something to Joker, because they're all in on it, and they all understand what happened. So everyone that saw Kite Man before was like, that's Kite Man. What if kites? Really? He flies? Like, you thought Batman was a dumb name. Check out Kite Man. It's no longer that. That's Kite Man. He's honoring his son in the only way he knows how, and the only way that makes sense to him anymore. Because this book, it just drives this man off the deep end. So in terms of the big two, DC and Batman number 27 definitely runs it this weekend, or this week. Definitely hit the jackpot. If you had to pick one from the big two, go out and pick that one. Moving into smaller comics, by definition, not by my definition, and you'll see why in a second. The next comic we have today, Power Rangers 17. Power Rangers is the one comic I've kept reading and have kept up with, even though I've dropped off, even though wrestling has gotten a little bigger. Prez says, and not gonna lie, the Riddler's always been my favorite, but I'm so happy this delved into Kite Man's life. Breaking off for a second, sorry, I started talking about Power Rangers a little too early. There's a shot of the Riddler in this comic, and I think it might be one of the only shots of the Riddler in this comic, where he is just absolutely ripped. He's standing there with his shirt open, absolutely ripped, with the riddle, the question mark. Beetle, come on, you know it. The question mark drawn on his chest, just pumped up, and I'm like, when did this happen to the Riddler? The Riddler to me was a scrawny dude, and like Jim Carrey. That's the only Riddler I can think of. Not that I can think of, but when I think of the comics, it's Jim Carrey, obviously. No, the Riddler looks like an imposing force in this, and the Joker even looks like an imposing force. None of them can go toe to toe with Batman. None of them look like they can go toe to toe with Batman, but they are both ripped to shreds, and it's ridiculous. Sorry, back to Power Rangers. Power Rangers 17 this week from Boom Studios Comics. I think it's Boom Studios Comics. It might just be Boom Studios. Who knows? So if you've been keeping up with Power Rangers, and I'm biased because this is my childhood right now, or right here in one comic. Go read this. If you've been keeping up with it, if you're just picking up, this is a perfect starting on point. Guys, to catch you up on the Power Rangers comics till now, it basically takes place, and I guess we can kind of infer it takes place in between episodes of the show. The Green Ranger is still here, so Tommy is still green. You have all your original cast of Power Rangers, Jason, Trini, Zach, all of them. The I guess sell of this comic is that they can do so much with it without the constraints of a TV show. And what they have done so far, up until issue 17, is basically hit alternate dimensions, fight on the moon. They've gone everywhere. The Zords are doing all sorts of cleanup because you never saw that. You're like, hey, why are they destroying everything? Why aren't they going back? This is the place to slow down. 17 is the epilogue, you can say, to the major arc that's lasted the first 16 issues. And it's a perfect jumping on point, like I said. And basically, it's the Rangers not being busy. They've been hunted these past 16 issues. They've been trying to solve this problem with the Black Dragon and Lord Dracon. And now, finally, all that's done, and they can breathe, and they don't like breathing very much. They don't like slowing down. As you can tell, everyone's looking for something to do, and no one can really find anything to do. They're just like, well, we were Rangers, but we got homework. Sorry. And all of them skip out on any responsibility they have. Tommy and Billy work out the whole time because those two really bonded during the last story arc. Trini and Kimberly are trying to lead their normal lives, or trying to go and do homework and be at home and watch movies, stay up and watch Netflix, and they just can't. They're Rangers. They need something, so they take off and go on the pterodactyl Zord and just fly and just hang out on the pterodactyl Zord, which is pretty cool. And then Jason stays late at the command center because daily activities. Rita hasn't shown up since this Black Dragon incident weeks ago, or months ago, I guess they say at the beginning. But yeah, Vulcan School say months ago at the beginning. Hasn't shown up since then. And so sorry, I'm trying to put my thoughts together, obviously. So the Rangers are taking care of things like bridges collapsing, taking care of things like what was the other one? A tornado. They're just helping people in these daily tasks. And when they go back to normal life, it's not enough for them. It's amazing how they make Tommy fight the evil in the coin. It makes it more dark. Absolutely. That's part of the thing that hooked me in the first couple issues, is that Rita is still in Tommy's mind. She's still there, talking away, eating at him, and just trying to bring him back to the dark. Luckily, not in this issue. Like I said, this issue is a whole new jumping on point. So if you haven't read Power Rangers 1 through 16, please jump into 17. If you want an action-packed ride that you did not know possible in Power Rangers, that obviously transcends a kid's show. It's far smarter than the show was ever intended to be, and it's something that I really like in properties where I was a fan of Power Rangers at a real young age. I am obviously an adult bug now. So this comic has the franchise grow up with me without becoming dark, without becoming gory and everything. It's just obviously matures past what it was, and I love that in franchises. You can look at Harry Potter as a perfect example. It does the same thing, kind of. The first movie comes out, and they're children, and the first movies are playful, and there's stakes to the first movies, especially at the end, especially when Voldemort drops in. But it's still definitely a fun adventure, and by the last couple movies, that fun adventure is gone, and it just kind of comes at you. It's real life happening, and the stakes are much higher. And I like when properties do that, when they mature with its audience, because nothing can stay small forever. And if you do, you're just not evolving, obviously. Albie says hello. I rolled up to say hi. Hi, Albie. How's it going? Welcome to Beetle's Comic Box. We're wrapping up Power Rangers 17. Fantastic. Go pick it up, please. Prez says, I never read the Power Rangers comics, but I really think I need to read it now. It sounds like they handled it really well. They absolutely do handle it really well. Kyle Higgins, fantastic writer, fantastic art if you're a fan of Power Rangers. If I can get some of these panels blown up and put on my walls, it's going to happen. Absolutely. Put it everywhere. Boom, boom, boom. Dragon Zord. I know in the first issue or the second issue, there's a fantastic picture of the Dragon Zord down in the sea with the water all around and the fish. Oh, beautiful art. So pick up Power Rangers. If you've ever liked any sort of Power Rangers, pick up that comic. Next comic, we'll go for probably the third biggest comic. I skipped to Power Rangers because that was obviously that's close to me. Third biggest comic this week, I would say, is easily Astonishing X-Men #1. Astonishing X-Men. A lot of people have fallen off of the X-Men franchise, and me being one of them. And there's a very simple reason for that. A lot of people don't care about X-Men anymore because Marvel doesn't care about X-Men anymore. And we will see how true this rings this weekend at San Diego Comic-Con, because for the longest time, X-Men have taken a back seat, and the Inhumans have become the new mutant, the new X-Men, every time someone in the Marvel Universe now gets a power, instead of being a mutant, instead of having that gene, they're now an Inhuman, and they're now get changed by the Terrigen Mists. And it's rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite doesn't have X-Men in it, as far as we can see. Try to name a Marvel vs. Capcom game that didn't have an X-Men in it. that didn't have 4 or 5. That didn't have Cyclops. I think of Marvel vs. Capcom and I think of Cyclops right off the bat. I think of that iconic, the beam. I can't remember what he yells. It's optimal beam or something like that. But that's what I think. That's what you think of when you think Marvel vs. Capcom. And Marvel has completely done away with it. And it's many reasons. You can say it's because they don't have the movie rights. You can say anything like that. But it's sadly true. Lion Mask says, what Marvel without X-Men is DC without Teen Titans. And it's true. And DC is trying to find its Teen Titans again, I think. We'll get to it in a second. Trust me. There's a book coming up with the Teen Titans in it. It's not Teen Titans, but it has the Teen Titans in it. And DC is definitely just getting their feet planted with their Teen Titans again. Who's your favorite X-Men character? Dizzy's is Nightcrawler. Who's your guys' favorite X-Men character? Because I can think of a bunch. I really like Havoc. And not Havoc recently, obviously. The classic Havoc. I had X-Men Academy 2 on PlayStation 2. All I was playing as Havoc. Havoc and Psylocke, because Psylocke was kind of dominant in that game. Speaking of Psylocke, she's in this book. This whole book starts because of Psylocke. So what happens? Sorry, off of the X-Men rant now. Anyways, Marvel has 3 X-Men books on the shelves right now. X-Men Gold, X-Men Blue, and the Astonishing X-Men. This is the number 1 of Astonishing X-Men. And yes, that is a Beetle pinata in the background. I had to move on out of the way because he's blue and everybody's chats right here are blue. So I'll fix that next episode so he can be more in the way. Right now he just looks really creepy staring at me. And okay, I'll go back over him. But anyways, Astonishing X-Men has a very interesting premise, and to sum it all up, the big villain in this is the Shadow King. And you cannot deny that the big villain of this is the Shadow King because of the popular show on FX, Legion. Legion is based on an X-Men character, Charles Xavier's son, and it was a show on FX, the main villain, the Shadow King. And Marvel's really does that, and it's kind of their downfall, and one of their big strong suits is when you hear about something Marvel, in whether it be TV, movies, as long as it's out there in the pop culture sphere, it is everywhere. So the minute somebody said Shadow King on TV, Marvel goes, we need to make a Shadow King comic, something with a Shadow King in it, something where the Shadow King is the villain, because he's going to be on people's minds this summer. People are going to know the name of the Shadow King, and instead of that going away, we want to capitalize on that. Daredevil is the same way. You can bet that the Odinson will be back as Thor at some point before Thor Ragnarok comes out. You can bet that Captain America will be fine in the comics by the time the next Avengers come out. Because the theory behind this, and this is just a little capitalism 101, let's call it. The theory behind this, I know, it's really weird to hear Beetle use all these big words. Stay with me, because I'm actually really passionate about comics and comics economy and all this stuff. The obvious reason behind that is because they want you to watch the movies, and they want you to go pick up the comics after that. And if you go and watch a Spider-Man movie with Peter Parker, and you go to the comics and you say, I want a comic book with Spider-Man in it, I want to read a Peter Parker comic book. If Spider-Man is not Peter Parker at that point, you're going to look at this comic book and be like, I mean, well, this is kind of what I want. I mean, it's Spider-Man. Whether that be Ben Reilly, whether it be Miles Morales, you're just going to be like, I guess this is it. And then maybe you won't buy it. Marvel doesn't want that. Marvel wants you to go find an Avengers comic or see an Avengers movie. Go out to find an Avengers comic, and boom, there's that roster that you know from the movie, plus maybe 1 or 2 people. Which is why, obviously, the Avengers got restarted when the first Avengers came out, and that was the team. That was the team that was the Avengers for a while. So that's why that stuff happens. And so this, the big bad is Shadow King. And the premise of it, at least the premise of this series going forward, because this book does an excellent job of kicking it off. It has a very interesting start that basically talks about psychics and the thing is that all the psychics go through, I can't even say that word, psychics go through these 2 instances in life. And then Shadow King comes in and he's killing all these psychics one by one, and how there's different types of psychics. There's the psychics that can't handle it and seclude themselves. Those are the weak ones, and they shut themselves off in the island, or they just meditate all day and they try to push out everybody's voices. But then there's the strong psychics, and Shadow King goes after a strong psychic right at the beginning of this book, that being Psylocke, and makes her go crazy on a city. And as soon as she gets a little bit of like wherewithal in here, she sends out a psychic message to a couple psychics, and it basically makes them all meet up in France. There's Phantom X, there's Gambit, Phantom X and Gambit have a fantastic relationship. I've been out of comics for a while, so I don't know why Gambit owes Phantom X money or whatever he owes him, but it's fantastic. There's Angel, there's Bishop, Mystique's on the front. Mystique's not in this. I don't know why she's on the front. Just needed a blue guy, or blue girl. Old Man Logan is in here, and Old Man Logan was a big topic for me when they started to reboot the whole universe after Secret Wars. I was like, why is Old Man Logan staying around? Wolverine definitely had a point, and every comic company does it, but Wolverine was definitely at a point, especially back when I was really into the comic books, where Wolverine was in every series that you picked up. There was Wolverine, because Wolverine was hot at the time. Now, that character is Deadpool, obviously. And Deadpool will be in any series. That's just because you see Deadpool and, pick one. Deadpool and Moon Knight. Boom. Moon Knight sales shoot up because it has Deadpool in it. Those Deadpool fanatics need to read Deadpool. Same thing happened with Wolverine back in the day. Wolverine was hot. He needed to be on every X-Men team. Now, Wolverine is dead. And now, Wolverine is Old Man Wolverine. Old Man Logan. Because Old Man Logan was a fantastic comic book when it came out. And you can't leave fantastic comic books alone. Nope. You need to capitalize. You need that cashola. You need to cash out as much as you can. So Secret Wars came out. Let's pull back this Old Man Logan universe. And let's bring it back. Let's tell more stories in it. Alright, Secret Wars is done. Well, we really like Old Man Logan, and we kind of need a Wolverine right now, and X-23 isn't really selling that well because Logan the movie isn't out yet, but as soon as Logan the movie comes out, then it'll sell well. But wait, Logan the movie is still Old Man Logan, so we can have our cake and eat it too. We can have X-23 sell well because people now know Laura. And we can have things with Old Man Logan in it, because people aren't going to think that's a weird Wolverine now. People are just going to think that's the Wolverine, because they've seen this movie with Logan in it. So, obviously, back to Comics Economy. We all know it. It's happening. Whatever. He doesn't feel out of place in this book, and he doesn't feel as out of place as Wolverine felt in a lot of the old comics. Shouting out to any Civil War tie-in that Wolverine was in. Hey, sorry about being late. Hey, welcome. Don't be sorry about being late. So in the chat, just tell me what things you guys read this week, if any. Because like I said, if nobody's in this chat is reading comics, then we're going to have to figure something else out for the rest of the hour, I guess. I'm going to try to go an hour. We'll see. Long story short, Astonishing X-Men #1. Pick it up. It's a good read, and it's obviously a good jumping on point because it says #1. Right there. I'm still getting used to this camera thing, obviously. Still says #1 right there. The front is kind of misleading because this isn't the cast of characters. There's some of the characters. Archangel isn't Archangel in it. He's just Angel. And nobody really knows if that's foreshadowing is the word I was looking for. If that's foreshadowing to something or if it's not. We'll see. Mostly comic books will have different covers because the solicitations, the books that come out where you choose, your shops choose, all right, I want 50 of that issue, will come out like 6 months in advance or so. So they need a cover before they actually have the story planned out. So yeah, don't trust comic covers. Simple as that. The next comic in today's Beatles comic box. I'm just going to start calling it a comic box. Of course, it's my comic box. I own the comics. I'm here. The next comic is, we're going to turn it back to DC in a second. I'm currently reading the IDW ROM series. I need to get into ROM series. I need to get into more IDW stuff too, especially since Aubrey Sitterson is writing G.I. Joe right now. If you guys don't know Aubrey, he does a fantastic YouTube wrestling show called Straight Shoot. Go check it out on YouTube. Just met him the other couple days ago, a few weeks ago at PWG. He was really dope. He's a really nice guy. Hi, Park. Welcome. How's it going? Jumping back over to DC, Super Sons number 6? Number 6. Let me just say that Connor Kent, being the Superboy, not New 52 Connor Kent before that, is one of my favorite DC characters of all time. Probably one of my favorite comics characters of all time. It's very, 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 very interesting to have Superman as a dad, as he is in Super Sons, or in Superman right now. I really like Superman as a stepdad, as he was to Connor Kent in the OG comics. So this is completely different dynamics. Superman to Connor Kent was more like, I don't know really how to really handle you, but good job, slugger type of relationship. This is a lot different. And obviously Superman's not in this one. Sorry, I'm bleeding two comics together. We're gonna have Superman come up next. Super Sons, fantastic. This is Superman's son and Batman's son, Damian Wayne and John Kent. And they're both really, really new at this, I guess. I guess John being newer than Damian, because Damian's obviously been operating for a couple years with Batman. And this is starts as just a night out. Just a night out. Damian wants to train John, and John just wants to go help people in Metropolis for the night. So they have a fun little exchange. Damian very hard on Justice because he's from Gotham, and you got to teach him early, and you got to scare the Justice into him. And John is obviously the son of Superman. He just wants to have fun. He just wants to help people and put smiles on people's faces. This is Metropolis. This is his city. People shouldn't fear justice. People should just be inspired by justice. And that really comes through. If you want the quintessential Batman and Superman boiled down to what they are, Damian and John and Super Sons are that. Just at its base dynamic is Batman and Superman. If Batman and Superman opened their eyes yesterday and decided to go out in the world as they are. And it's really good. And the Teen Titans, like we were talking about before, Teen Titans make a appearance in this because Damian is the leader of the Teen Titans right now. And you can kind of tell that the Teen Titans don't want Damian to be their leader, but they just kind of deal with it. This is Batman's son. We can get some training offhand from Batman, I guess. Let's do that. Sure. And so it's very interesting. They go to take out. Let me. There's one specific panel I want to show you in this, and I probably should have done this more, showing you Bugs some panels from the comics just to sell you on a little more. Can I just say that one of these art styles, one of the characters in this right here is the Time Commander, as he calls himself. You probably see him right there. I hope my camera's good enough. That's the Time Commander. That is definitely Batman with a hood on. His whole face is just a Batman drawing, and somebody put a hood on him instead of wings or his little ears. That's the only thing I had. I was definitely taken aback. I was like, is he gonna come out and say he's definitely a villain? He's definitely not Batman. But that art, somebody just drew Batman. There's another problem I have with DC Comics, the couple that I've read this week, is that I'm reading this comic, I'm going along, and I'm in the comic, I'm invested, and for some reason, somebody had the idea to put an ad for Snickers in this comic in the style of a comic of Flash and Gorilla Grodd. So I'm reading Super Sons, and in the middle of reading Super Sons, I'm just like, where did the Flash come from? Why is Gorilla Grodd here? What's happening? Because of the way I read comics, I did not see the giant Snickers logo at the bottom. Yes, it is jarring. It's also a different art style, so that was jarring. But I'm reading this comic normally, left to right, as I would. It gets different when we get into mangas. We'll talk about them later. And yeah, why? Look at you go from there, that art style, to there, to that art style, but it's still a comic. It's still comic format, and you're just like, what's happening? Why is Gorilla Grodd here? And then it turns out Gorilla Grodd's not really there. Dishonored says, oh yeah, there's one with Superman as well. There's one in apparently all the DC comics. I've looked it up. And apparently that's just the Snickers ad format for DC Comics. So that was really weird. Let me put this back. But Super Sons, number 6. You can definitely jump on with number 6. There's not really much you need to know besides Damian Wayne is the son of Batman. John Kent is the son of Superman. There's super adorable Lois Lane being a mother in here. And it's definitely not 90s Lois Lane. 90s Lois Lane feels like she would be a very kind of cutthroat mother. This is a much more loving, been a mother for like 10 years type of mother, because she has. Jonathan Kent's 10 years old. But moving on to the next comic, and I think the last comic of the night as well. Superman 27, and this is the comic I was mixing together with Super Sons, because it has that same dynamic. It's Superman and his son. No Damian Wayne this time. And this is, for some reason, this is the week of epilogues, because I've got basically epilogue issues besides the first 2 big ones. Keep in mind, this is Superman from pre-Flashpoint continuity. Correct! This is the Superman you all know and love. This isn't New 52 Superman, even though he still doesn't have his underwear on the outside. If you're wondering where I got it from my suit, I wear my underwear on the outside because Superman wore his underwear on the outside. This Superman doesn't do that. Still, pre-New 52 Superman, for those of you that aren't super comics literate, that basically means that DC Comics was rebooted a couple years back. I think maybe like 7 years back now. Rebooted a couple years back. And so all the characters you know and love were de-aged, were made into a more base version of themselves that's more recognizable with a few twists. This is not that Superman. This is the Superman that you know from all those past stories. This is the Superman that died when Doomsday punched a hole in his face. This is that Superman. But now he has a son. Now his son is 10 years old. Now he's a dad. And all the complaints that people had about Superman, of Superman being too goody two-shoes, too unrelatable, being the good all-American boy, trust me, there were people. Those are all wiped away, because instead of Superman preaching to random civilians, well, you should do this because this is truth, justice, in the American way. Superman is teaching his 10-year-old son truth, justice, in the American way. And it makes it so much easier to swallow that Superman's just not preaching to anyone that'll listen about morals and everything. He's teaching his son about morals. So getting to this issue, this is definitely an epilogue issue for the last big arc that they had. And it's Superman, John Kent, his son, Superboy, in this continuity, and Lois going on a trip across America for the 4th of July. They go on a 4th of July trip, and Superman teaches John about American history, basically, which is weird because, like, Superman's an alien. Superman learned American history just like the rest of us, but it's not really his history. It's not Kryptonian history, obviously. So, and the fact that Superman's so invested in American history obviously gives John kind of an eye-opening, like, whoa, this is important because my dad knows this stuff and he's not even from here. So it's really cool. They visit a couple monuments, and there are some on the nose type of things, like, well, obviously this is a Superman comic because they're being really goody two shoes with that, but it feels so natural because they're, like I said, these are parents teaching their 10-year-old son, and they're, I'm sorry, not totally threw me off. I was trying to read that for a second. They're teaching the 10-year-old son, and there's this really just Superman part of the issue where they find a veteran who had his legs injured in one of the wars, and they take him out to dinner, and the lady in the diner tries to refuse service, tries to turn him away because he's a homeless man. He's been outside. We've seen him there. We don't need to serve him. And Superman says, actually, you do need to serve him. Your diner is filled with pictures of all these empty celebrities that have done nothing, and you're not willing to serve this veteran, this person who's fought and served his country for you. His picture and the pictures of all the other veterans should be on the wall. And it's not, like I said before, it's not Superman preaching to this waitress. It's Superman teaching his son how to treat people. And it really relates. If you've ever been taught a lesson, it'll ring true. You'll hear it in your head. You'll hear whoever your authority, your hero figure was, through the eyes of Superman, and it feels really great. And then there's this fun part at the end. John falls asleep, and Superman basically tells Lois, "Hey, you want to go look at the stars and make out?" Because he's Superman. He can do that. He can just go fly up to the stars with his wife. And then he gets called away to another Justice League thing, because that's the life of Superman. It's nonstop, but it's fun that this comic stops for a second and lets you know that, yeah, Superman is all this stuff, but Superman is a dad first and foremost, and in a way that he's always been America's dad. He's always been a dad to the readers. He's always taught these lessons, but now you have someone who is teaching it too, and it doesn't feel preachy, and it feels a lot more natural and from the heart. I guess you can say. But those are all the comics I read this week so far. I had Spider-Man #2 from last week. I still haven't gotten to get to it yet. I had to do a couple things. I had to figure out how to put the chat in, which took me way too long. It took me way longer than I should have. I should have known how to do that right off the bat, and I didn't. So yeah, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 comics this week. I said 4 or 5. We did 6, guys. We expanded our comics learning material. That's not even what I was trying to say. It just came out. We definitely overreached our goal this week. And I want to know what you guys are reading. I want to know what you guys want me to read. Because next week, more comics come out. Guess what? This Friday, not even Friday, today through Sunday is San Diego Comic-Con. And I can officially state here that I will be in El Centro on Saturday evening for Desert Pro Wrestling. But guess what? It's just an hour and a half away from El Centro, San Diego Comic-Con. So Saturday morning, I will be at San Diego Comic-Con, just hanging out, just chilling, just walking around, finding all the free stuff because I don't have a pass, obviously. Next year, fingers crossed, Super Beetle's going to have a pass. But for this year, I'll just be walking around, hanging out. If you guys are at San Diego Comic-Con, please tweet me. We'll figure something out. We'll hang out. We'll meet up, or just walk around and try to see me and be like, "Hey, Super Beetle." Tell your friends, "Hey, that's Super Beetle." Dizzy says, "Well, they aren't making any new ones that I know of just yet, but Kaiju Max is one of my faves. Howard the Duck is a good one. I haven't caught up with him." Kaiju Max is great. I've read Volume 1 of Kaiju Max, and it definitely takes some getting used to. Like, oh wait, we have our minds programmed a certain way to see these. Obviously, these as monsters. We see it the Ultraman type character way, where it's like, this maybe isn't great. And so, but Kaiju Max definitely turns it different. New Legacy Party. I think I just got rated. I'm not sure. Not 100% sure. But I've definitely seen a bunch of new names in here. And if this is the New Legacy raid, what's up, guys? Good to see ya. Hey, welcome to Beetle's Comic Box. If you came for video games, they totally made your raid on the wrong day, because the chat did blow up. There's a ton of people here. Let me check the viewers list, because I like doing that from time to time. They totally sent you here on the wrong day. Oh, we've been waiting the entire time for one more follower. Because bugs. Oh, there's 2. See? Now they did it. I was going to make it a big deal. I was going to be like, boom, one more follower. We got to 50 followers. And now we got 2. Now we got 3. What's up? The Sish? I kind of like that name. The Sish. And I was going to sign off right now. No, I'm just going to stay on for a little longer, talk about more comic books. Hey, Bugs! Welcome. I'm Super Beetle. Welcome to Super Beetle's Comic Box. Welcome, Full Metal Flak. Tell me what you guys are reading, because you all are blowing up the chat right now. Welcome. Shout out to New Legacy. Thank you. You like the mask gimmick. Thank you. This is my mask. I wrestle in it. Lots of the times. Most of the times. Mainly all of the times I wrestle in it. But this is Beetle's Comic Box, where we talk about comics. Other days we play video games. Wednesdays, all about comics. So somebody said, The Walking Dead. How is The Walking Dead right now? Because I haven't read it in maybe 50 issues. Zachariah, welcome. Thanks for following. Batman Beyond Rebirth. Batman Beyond Rebirth. Favorite Rebirth story. My favorite Rebirth story. Just off the top of my head, I really liked Flash. Flash with the Godspeed one. He was a very interesting character. The lightning hitting all the people, great. CM Hades, welcome. Zergy Stardust says, you wrestle. Absolutely, I wrestle. I wrestle in Southern California. What's up, Blue Wolf 934? I wrestle in Southern California for Empire Wrestling Federation, doing wrestling for Desert Pro this weekend. So I wrestle all around, just the SoCal indies. Mag New York 420 is now following. Welcome. I feel like while you guys are here, I like what Tom King is doing. Hey, big dog, we just talked about Tom King. I just read Batman 27, War Jokes and Riddles. Fantastic right now. Kite Man, hell yeah. Dagger 2000, what's up? I'm gonna have to keep up with all these names somehow. So if I just cut talking in the middle. Clench Knox 852, what's up? See, I still like that little zombie. Guys, I said we were going to do a giveaway when we hit 50. We just completely broke the wall of 50 because we only needed one follower when y'all came down here. What's up, Kodiak907? How's it going? We only needed one follower. So now we are going to do a giveaway. I'm going to give away a Super Beetle mask, a Super Beetle shirt, and a pair of Super Beetle goggles. If you bugs haven't seen me, that's what I wear. That's what I wear. Goggles, my mask, and my shirt. It's not this mask, it's the mask that I sell, so they're a little bit more breathable. You'll have an easier time than I will. Where I'm catching up on manga, but I can't spell. It's in Japanese. The only manga I'm reading right now is, what's up, big dog? How's it going? The only manga I'm reading right now is Ultraman. And Ultraman, fantastic if you haven't. If you know anything about Ultraman, go pick it up from Volume 1. Static Thief, how's it going? Thanks for following. Go pick it up from Volume 1. Anyways, sorry, I need to get to how we're going to give away this stuff. See, I'm totally off now. Shout out to New Legacy. You guys are fantastic. I'm so happy that this is happening. All right, so I'm going to go back in the chat right now. I'm going to pick one person, one bug that's following to win all this stuff, and then I'll contact you on Twitch. So, oh, shoot. I'm going to say if you... Look at the little followers thing in the bottom. Can't even keep up. What's up, MW? Thanks for coming. If you want to win, I guess the prize pack, a mask, pair of my goggles, and a Super Beetle shirt, please hit a comment in the chat. That's all you need to do. And I'm just going to scroll through and pick somebody. One of you bugs, El Belmonte, because there's a ton of them now. See? All you bugs that were here before, missed your chance, because now it's just blowing up. Now we just got everything. Everyone's just doing comment now. Omega Garrett, what's up, Omega Garrett? I'm missing what you guys are reading. What should I read next week? Because next week, we're doing this again. We're doing this every Wednesday. Mr. X Assassin, what's up? We do this every weekend. Every Wednesday, we're doing Beatles Comic Box at 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So be here. We're going to talk about the top 4 or 5 comics. And if you bugs have any suggestions, tweet me. I'm at Real Super Beetle on everything. On Instagram, on Twitter, and I guess that's all of it. That's everything. Just the 2. And Instagram and Twitter. If you check the Twitch links below, you'll find my YouTube where I do Super Beetle Adventures. By the way, this Saturday I'll be at San Diego Comic-Con, so that will definitely be part of this week's Super Beetle Adventures. My Twitch channel, obviously, all my past Twitch streams, which is not a lot right now, but we're going to get them going. Don't worry. We'll do that. Stawn Asberno, welcome. I like that name, Stawn. Very starch. I am Stawn. Part of the NL crew. Love the mask, by the way. Thank you. I designed it. It's mine. I like the horn. Justin Cole White, what's up? How's it going? I feel like I have to say that to everybody. How's it going? Everybody's going in. G1 hype. G1 starts. It started already. But G1 night 2 starts in a couple hours. I guess day 2, maybe. Who do you guys want for the G1? The G1 climax. Who you pulling for? Kota Ibushi, one of my personal favorites. Fingers crossed. maybe won't happen. Who do you guys want in the Mae Young Classic? I know Evie's a big dog for New Legacy. Evie is one of my favorite women wrestlers right now. Women's wrestlers. Scratch that. Evie's one of my favorite wrestlers right now on the independent scene. I guess I can't call her on the independent scene anymore because she's not. Shout out to the big dog. Evie is the best. And in North Carolina, I can't find anyone to make me gear. If you can't find anyone to make me gear, or make you gear, the people at your school, your wrestling school, should definitely know where to get gear made. RX Rashid, welcome. Bugs, if I can ask a favor to all you New Legacy big dogs, what up? Elfredo Bandito, how's it going? Just go to the Twitter, go to the Instagram below, and follow, because all that stuff will make the difference. Candice LeRae is somebody's pick. Fun fact, I currently train at the school that Candice LeRae is from. Candice LeRae is from the Empire Wrestling Federation and the School of Hard Knocks. So Candice LeRae, met her one time at a housewarming party for another student of the School of Hard Knocks, and she was really disappointed when we lost in the drinking game, I guess. The game that was going on, she was really disappointed. Tux789, what's up? That's the one time I met Candice LeRae. So when I tweeted out when the Mae Young Classic started that my ideal final would be Evie and Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, Candice LeRae finals. I'm so excited to actually watch these matches happen. You have no idea. I hope Bianca Belair to win, just in case. Just because of her hair whip. That thing is dope. Like, I wish I can get my tassels to do that and just wrap around people's wrists like that. Sadly, too short. She'll always be Evie to me. Me too. Don't worry. If you guys haven't seen, Evie has like a 15-minute documentary on the MCW YouTube. It's awesome. Go watch it. You get to see everything she's been through, kind of, and just the dedication and the hard work that it takes to get there. So that's cool. I'm a big Sarah Logan fan, so I want to see Dakota Kai versus Sarah Logan. That'll be awesome too. Dakota Kai versus Hojo for the finals. I've met Kari Hojo. I'm just name dropping now. But EWF sponsored Stardom's USA tour 2 years ago. And then we sponsored the first Sabotage Wrestling show that Kari came over for. And we were training one day. And Kari came in just to say hi to everybody, just to meet my trainer and everything. And we have these punching bags set up, and she starts giving forearms to these punching bags. And these forearms were the loudest thing I've ever heard on that punching bag. I've heard boxers on that punching bag, not as hard as Kari Hojo, just slamming these forearms into this punching bag. It was insane. Favorite mask design that isn't your own? I really like King Cuerno. King Cuerno, awesome mask design. A lot of lucha masks are fantastic. Rey Fenix, obviously, Pentagon, Penzo Zero M now is awesome. Have you met Jervis Cottonbelly? I have met Jervis Cottonbelly. Me and Jervis Cottonbelly get along really well. He's based down in SoCal now. We have talked a couple of times. Super nice, super good big dog. Jervis is fantastic. Penta's mask is my favorite right now. It's insane. The guy, it's weird because you forget that it's only this, and the rest of it is his paint. So not only does he have to put that on, he has to go in there and do the rest of the paint too. Have you been to PWG? Yes, the promotion I work for, actually, PWG actually uses our ring. So I have worked ring crew for PWG a couple times. Did you watch Glow on Netflix? Absolutely have watched Glow on Netflix. I feel like I'm just name dropping, but Kong, Kia Stevens, works with Empire Wrestling Federation, trained at Empire Wrestling Federation, comes from the School of Hard Knocks. Definitely met her a couple times. Super nice lady. Yeah, and Glow was dope. She was one of the best parts of Glow, even without me knowing her. Welfare Queen, all the way. I dig Drago's mask. Drago's mask is dope. I feel like that mask has to cost him $200 each time because it's such an amazing texture to it that it's just fantastic. What type of worker are you? Full-time or part-time? Everyone is a part-time worker until you can actually pay for a living doing wrestling. And so even I know that even Candice, she was working PWGs and everything and still had a part-time job and was still paying for wrestling different ways until wrestling can pay for itself, and until wrestling can pay for the rest of everything you see here. the apartment, the Beetle pinata that I got back there. Till that guy pays rent, everyone is a part-time wrestler. Somebody said, "Are you excited for hyped for San Diego Comic-Con?" Super hyped for San Diego Comic-Con. I'll be there Saturday, so if any of you bugs are out, San Diego Comic-Con Saturday morning. I have a show that night in El Centro, which is like an hour away, but I'm going to stop by there Saturday morning, probably about 10 to 3. I'll be out there, so if any of you bugs are out there, please hit me up. We'll do something. We'll do a little get-together. We'll hang out. You want to talk wrestling? You want to talk comics? We'll do all that stuff. And be back here on Wednesday because we're going to talk about all those announcements. How about Liger's Mask? Jushin Thunder Liger's Mask is one of the most iconic of all time. So, if you're asking me about Liger's Mask, there's not a bug in the world who doesn't look at Jushin Thunder Liger's Mask and think that is fantastic. Are you excited for Kamen Rider Build? Yes! Kamen Rider is one of my favorite things. I am Super Beetle, I wrestle as Super Beetle, but I also go under the moniker as the Toku Titan. Toku being Tokusatsu, for those of you who don't know. Kamen Rider, Power Rangers, Ultraman, Godzilla, all that stuff. Kamen Rider Build looks fantastic suit-wise, and I'm very scared because I thought Ghost looked fantastic suit-wise, and I did not like Ghost that much. Didn't like X-Aid suit. Love X-Aid the show. Throwing that out there. What wrestling school would you recommend? I'm going to need you to go online and research wrestling schools in your area, because the thing is, you want to look for who came out of that wrestling school. You want to look for who's training at that wrestling school currently. Who is the trainer of that wrestling school? Those are the 3 things you want. And then price. Don't go somewhere that's going to be, hey, we'll give you this many for $5 every training, because you get what you pay for. You want to pay top dollar. You need to be in good shape cardio wise and in good shape. And trust me, I didn't go into wrestling in shape. I went in 60 pounds heavier than I am now. And wrestling will get you into shape, but only as much dedication as you put into it. Did you ever have a really embarrassing, really bad gimmick? Is this bad gimmick? This is all I've had. I've been Super Beetle since I can remember. So, Dizzy says, I hope to know all those are. Seeing as I'm friends with the creator of Kaiju Big Battle, he even knows my name. Kaiju Big Battle's dope. I'd definitely like to go over there sometime. I don't think they use like normal wrestlers though. I'm pretty sure they use their own wrestlers. Favorite Robin of all time? Big Dog asks. Favorite Robin of all time is Dick Grayson. Nightwing is one of my favorite DC characters of all time. So I guess that's kind of cheating because I like him more as Nightwing than I like him as Robin. So if it's not him, Damian, obviously, because Jason Todd's kind of a jerk, and Tim Drake has been written recently to be not important. So what else are you bugs saying? There's a Team 3D school that I'm going to down in Florida. I heard Team 3D school is great. Go down there. I definitely have a couple of bugs friends training down in Florida. Team 3D was most of their first picks. Some of them couldn't get in money wise, time wise, travel wise, but Team 3D turned out nothing but great. Cool man Kirky, what's up? I like that it's cool with a K. I love Damian Wayne. I'm not ashamed. Can we get a poll going right now? I don't have any poll things. I'm just gonna read the chat. How many people like Damian? How many people like Dick? How many people like Jason? How many people like Tim? Because this is, somebody said Damian is a twit. A lot of people think that. A lot of people hate Damian because of how jerky he is. But if you hate Damian, go ahead and read a comic we just talked about, Super Sons. He gets a lot of character in here. He's a lot more, I guess you could say he's more of a lovable jerk, a lovable twit. What about Stephanie Brown? I'm not even giving Stephanie Brown any credit. See, who likes Stephanie Brown? I know she's come around more often recently. Stephanie Brown gets forgotten a lot. Obviously, I just did. Stephanie Brown gets forgotten because she's Robin for a very short time. A lot of people are saying Dick Grayson. Gotta shout out to Dick Grayson. Like I said, Dick Grayson, one of my favorite comic characters of all time, especially in DC, because he is, to me, one of the first comic characters that showed growth. One of the first characters to say, hey, I'm not a 10-year-old boy anymore. Let me go be my own man. And you didn't really see that in comics at the time. Comics were kind of static, were kind of spinning their wheels. The same thing happened all the time, and it always brought back to the status quo until Dick Grayson became Nightwing. Who's your favorite wrestler, current favorite wrestler for the WWE? I'm not even like pandering or anything, but it's got to be Evie. I don't think she's had a match for the WWE yet, unless you count the Nia Jax match on NXT. But Evie, other than that, AJ Styles, I remember turning on TNA in 2005 on Fox Sports and seeing AJ Styles and being like, this is amazing. 111 followers, by the way. Wow, I just wanted to break 50 tonight. Trust me, I was at 49, and I'm like, let's do this, Bugs. And then you, Bugs, came in, and it all got so much more following-y. AJ Styles is fantastic. Like I said, I turned on TNA in 2005. I was like, who is this guy? This is amazing. And then Brother Bug was like, well, that's not WWE. Turn that off. That's lame wrestling. And I just kind of like, he was my big brother at the time. I was like, yeah, the lame wrestling. Turned it off. And then I slowly started looking up more. I'm like, come on. Oh, there's AJ. And then to finally see him here, where he's at, one of the WWE champions now, or former WWE champion now, but to see his WWE title reign, it just felt so good. It felt so earned. It's like, gosh, I followed this guy since 2005. This guy's almost his entire career. Probably not even close to his entire career. He's been wrestling forever. Who's your favorite wrestler working for Lucha Underground right now? I feel... Not including Lucha Underground's matches, but all-around wrestler, Joey Ryan, because that man just understands entertainment. And if you don't understand Joey Ryan's type of entertainment, that's fine. Wrestling's for everybody, and everybody has their different types of wrestling. Joey Ryan is someone that I've seen multiple times live that can just go into any place and maybe not have the show-stealing match that everybody wants athletically, but he gets the crowd into it as much as possible. And I think that's really important. Do you watch NXT? If so, who's your favorite over there? I fell off on NXT a little bit because the thing about NXT is that a lot of people have started to understand that basically only the takeovers matter. Asuka, and quote me on this, and please, if I'm wrong, I will admit I'm wrong. Asuka is not gonna lose her title on a regular NXT show. She's gonna lose it on a takeover. It's just plain and simple. And obviously that's how WWE pay-per-views were for a while, where you're not gonna lose your title on a TV show, on a TV taping. You're gonna lose it on a pay-per-view. Now AJ is the U.S. title. He won it on a house show. So anything can happen, and they want to throw that little anything can happen in there. I just don't think NXT is there yet to anything's happening. So for now, just watching NXT on the takeovers. Roderick Strong, one of my absolute favorites down in NXT. He is killing it, just like he was killing it in PWG. Joey Ryan is fantastic in a live environment. I saw him at a show in Charlotte, and it was fantastic. Yeah, he gets it. I saw him at bar wrestling, teaming with Cody Rhodes, and you talk about Joey Ryan getting it. Cody Rhodes gets it, and those two guys understanding how the whole wrestling world works, they enter a ring and they just own it. You can say anything you want about Cody Rhodes in WWE. The reason he's survived on the indies is because he gets it. He understands that you don't have to go out there and have this amazing 20-star match. You can go out there and tell this story. You can go out there and have fun with the crowd, and it's really ultimately not about it's not about moves. It's not about what you do. It's about how you make everyone in that crowd feel. And at bar wrestling this last time, Cody Rhodes and Joey Ryan stole the show based solely on the emotion they were drawing from that crowd. So what is your finisher? It's called the Silver Streak. It's a rising flatliner. I have a couple videos posted of it on my Instagram or on my Twitter, so you can find that out there. I have the Silver Streak, which is a rising flatliner, and then I have the Beetle Buster, which is a belly-to-back suplex, and I basically throw them on their stomach. Roderick Strong also does it in NXT. He uses it as a setup for the sick kick. But yeah, that's the Beetle Buster. May I ask for your thoughts on Killian Dane / Big Damo? The dude can move. That bug is insane, okay? If I was that big, I don't know how I would even move like that man does. Jeff Cobb is the best. Don't know if he still wrestles for Lucha Underground. Jeff Cobb is not only the best, Jeff Cobb is a really, really nice guy, okay? There's people in wrestling that you can be like, oh yeah, he's cool, but this. Literally have nothing bad to say about Jeff Cobb. All the time, all of our interactions have been super nice. What are your thoughts on the Punjabi Prison? The Punjabi Prison match coming up on Sunday? I'm excited about it. That's the thing. You have to go into wrestling wanting to have fun. Because if you don't go in wanting to have fun, then there's no reason to watch wrestling. You don't go to a concert of a band that you hate. You don't go to a concert of a band that you used to like and think can be better. You go to a concert to enjoy that band. That's the same way with wrestling. Wrestling is a sport, wrestling is entertainment, and wrestling is for everyone. That's why every card in the country, Indies, WWE, has different types of matches. Like I was saying with Joey Ryan, you're going to have a Joey Ryan match, but you're also going to have that Zack Sabre Jr. match. You're also going to have that Jeff Cobb Power Man match. It's just because there's something for everybody. I can't convince myself not to call him Big Damo. A lot of people have that problem. I'm having that problem with Evie right now. Sorry, Dakota Kai. Love ya. Still have that problem. I've been watching a lot of ROH lately. I'm really liking Dalton Castle. What do you think of him? Dalton Castle, another one of those guys that doesn't need to do a bunch of insane moves, but he knows a bunch of insane moves, and he can pull them out when he wants to. But the guy is just entertaining. Simple as that. Somebody said something about bumps. Where did that one go? Worst bump you've taken? I'm the current EWF American Champion, and in the match that I won that, I was facing a guy way bigger than me, Anthony Idol, and as I was coming off the rope coming off the apron to give him a crossbody onto the floor, he caught me, and he just ran full speed and slammed me into the post. And if you've ever touched a post at the shows, those are metal. Like, there's no way to get around that. That's metal. And so a lot of people take their head. I bumped my horn a couple times. It's ding, give the little ding. No, this was my spine going into that post. So that's probably the worst bump I've ever taken. There's just so many great wrestlers on the scene right now, and that's great. That's the thing. All these wrestlers are on the scene, but it's not overfilled. Every show has a different card. And it's not overfilled because WWE is going to sign the best of the best, and those people are going to go up. And then the bugs under them are going to go up into those top spots. Lio Rush, perfect example. Lio Rush has had a meteoric rise in the indie scene right now. That's because the spots above Lio Rush got taken up. Not to say Lio Rush isn't good, because Lio Rush is absolutely amazing, but that gave him that opening opportunity to just shoot up to the top. What's your opinion on backyard wrestling? Backyard wrestling is backyard wrestling. If you really want to be a wrestler, please, and I beg of you, don't do backyard wrestling. Go get trained at a school. I've been to shows where people have refused to either be on that show or refused to work with someone on that show because they are a backyard wrestler and weren't properly trained. If you want to get in the ring, please go find a school. Get properly trained. Colton 46, sorry, I almost called you 64. That's a way different age. Colton 46, what's up? Good to see you, Bug. To be honest, I think you're one of my favorite indie guys right now. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Colton is hosting me right now. Thank you, Colton. I really appreciate that. I'm super appreciative. Obviously, I'm such a small bug in a big pond right now. I'm just out in SoCal. As the minute I can start traveling and everything, I go out and see all you bugs. All you bugs can come see me. Wrestling is an art form. You can tell as many stories as possible, and you can show a crowd how you and your opponent roll and make some magic. What are your thoughts on most styles of wrestling and other forms of it? I completely agree. I've been talking about it this whole time. It's interesting because we are in the most athletic part of wrestling as we've ever been in. I think a lot of these bugs can take off and do all these things athletically that a lot of bugs back then couldn't do, and that's fine. But there's also bugs that just entertain or just do comedy, and that's fine too. And all of it's interesting, all of it's fun. As a small child can go to a show and find anything that they want. If they want to laugh, they can laugh at a certain match on the card. If they want to be amazed by these two, like Hulk Hogan, when you saw Hulk Hogan in the ring, Hulk Hogan was a god to some of those people, and they looked up to Hulk Hogan, and that's happening on the indie scene right now, more so than ever before. Children are coming to these places and seeing these heroes that they can look up to on the indie scene and who they can dream about. And you think about how you felt when you saw Hulk Hogan or The Rock for the first time, and understand that there's children in the world right now that have a local hero. Shout out Joe Hendry. Not really, because he's a bad guy now. But have a local hero that they can look up to. Their Rock is 10 feet away from them every Friday night, putting it all on the line, showing that emotion for this child. That's what indie wrestling is right now. indie wrestling is, yeah, Azrael said the internet changed indie wrestling for the better. I wouldn't be in indie wrestling if not for the internet. We wouldn't be having this conversation if not for the internet. Obviously, there wouldn't be gifts of wrestlers out there if not for the internet. And it's fantastic because it just opens up the opportunities. I've had an opportunity to wrestle I'm in Southern California, obviously, in the deserts of California, solely because of the internet, solely because of you bugs, solely because the people that follow me asked for it. I'm getting so many opportunities solely because I have you bugs behind me saying, "Hey, we want Super Beetle here. Where is Super Beetle?" I have a bug that drew a sign for me and took it to his local promotion that said, "Where is Super Beetle?" And then that promotion followed me on Twitter, which isn't a big thing, but it's a start of something, and that's what the internet has done for local wrestling. Let's see what else you bugs are saying. I feel bad for the people who came for comics right now. It was a serious raid. Yeah, I'm totally sorry. I was just finishing up too when they threw everybody in here, and it just kind of exploded. Now I'm just answering questions in here. That's pretty much it. If you want to talk about comics, please. Questions about comics. The chat's moving kind of fast, so it's hard to keep up. Opinions on strong style. I like it, but I feel like sometimes people go overboard. For example, the Shibata headbutt. What happened to Shibata is an absolute tragedy. And strong style is just kind of another style of wrestling. I would say there was definitely a time when I was like, I want to do strong style. And then you hit hard a couple times, then you get hit hard a couple times, and you're like, all right, maybe strong style isn't my style. And the bugs that can do that are some of the toughest on the planet. And the bugs that can't do that doesn't make them any less tough. It just means they want to wrestle a different way. What's up? We Stab at Thee. What a cool name. My first indie show freaked me out. I was 12 and dumb and saw some fantastic wrestlers in a bingo hall and then came back out after their matches selling their merch. I was scared stiff when the heel came out. And think about that. That's what every kid in America is doing right now, especially because a lot of the heels are the cool heels right now and go out and sell merch with the fans and everything. It's hard to have a true heel in wrestling right now. So a lot of the fans, a lot of the younger fans are coming out and seeing these heroes come out and these villains come out, and you can be scared and you can get that autograph with your favorite guy and be like, oh gosh, I'm saving this forever. Absolutely. Somebody said something about Green Lantern. Where'd that go? Oh, and I missed it. Oh, here we go. So what did you recommend for someone who wants to get to know the Green Lantern or the Lantern Corps and introduced to the Green Lantern? Green Lantern, I think they've cleaned it up a little bit recently, but if you want to read Green Lantern, go back to Green Lantern Rebirth. Look up a reading order for Green Lantern Rebirth and everything past that, because it doesn't get better than that. The Sinestro Corps War, Blackest Night, maybe not everyone's favorite, but Blackest Night, the introduction of the Blue Lanterns and the Red Lanterns are where it's at, and you will absolutely not fault yourself for it. It's a lot of comics, but trust me, if you want to get into the Lantern Corps, there's no other way to do it. Do you think it's easier to get over as a proper babyface or be the most hated heel? I've never been a bad guy. It's just not in my nature. I dance during my matches. If you go to the YouTube links down below, you can kind of see some of them. I just like to have fun in the ring. It's easier for me to have fun in the ring and go and make people smile. Other people that I know, trust me, I know some people, I train with some people, it's 100 times, they can't crack a smile in the wrestling ring for anything. It's a lot easier to make a kid cry than it is to make them smile. Jeff Johns is a great writer. Jeff Johns, fantastic writer. Not when I first got into comic books, but I guess there was definitely a time when Jeff Johns was like the writer. It was Jeff Johns and Brian Michael Bendis were the two architects of the big two at the time, of Marvel and DC. And whichever way one of them swung their pen, the other one swung their pen the other way, and it created such a big rift in Marvel and DC that you couldn't wait to see what happened. You couldn't wait to see who pulled out in front. Have you ever heard of the Ugly Ducklings or James Drake, couple of PWS? I haven't heard of the Ugly Ducklings. That's probably a dope tag team name though. What do you think would classify your wrestling style as? Dancing? I like to dance in the ring. Definitely not straight comedy, because I do wrestle a lot. I go in there. My main goal is to go in there, and I may not be the toughest bug in the ring, but I'm definitely gonna try to prove that I'm just as tough of a bug in that ring than any other bug. Favorite superhero movie? Spider-Man Homecoming? Great. Speaking to the question under that too, have you seen the new Spider-Man movie? Spider-Man Homecoming, great. Fantastic. Loved it. It was very cool to see such a stark contrast to the other Spider-Man movies and Peter back in high school. So that's cool. My favorite superhero movie, I think underrated superhero movie by a long shot is The Losers. I really like The Losers. Did you know about the Flash villain who got his powers from doing cocaine and became more powerful when he used the drug? I don't. Which Flash villain is that? That sounds crazy. See, now the chat's just going crazy with cocaine powers. I know Super Panda has cocaine powers. I saw that at the last bar wrestling. When's Super Beetle versus Super Dragon? I get that question a whole lot more than you think, trust me. And if Super Dragon wants to come out of retirement and put me through a table, please come and try. Until then, it's just going to be a similarity in names, trust me. Did you know that New Legacy has a member named Duel who loves wrestlers who dance? I do know Duel, and I do know that he loves wrestlers who dance because I also like New Legacy, and we've talked a couple times on Twitter. We might actually get it to the point where I can jump in a streamer sometime and play something. Who knows? I have Fire Pro Wrestling World that just came out. We can play that together, or WWE 17. We'll see. Do you think Hulk should get another standalone movie? It's weird to say, and thank you. The Losers is a great movie. Anyone who hasn't watched The Losers, go watch it. It's fantastic. Chris Evans, before he was Captain America, totally killing it. It's difficult to say because I think it's interesting what they're doing. The Hulk, they're going a completely different route. You have your standalone movies, and then you have your characters that are getting stories told through those standalone movies, or the movies overall. Hawkeye was the same way, and I think the Hulk is this phase's Hawkeye. For phase 3, I think phase 3's Hawkeye, where he's gonna have his own string throughout the entire thing, and that's how you're gonna get it. So do I think there should be another standalone Hulk movie? Maybe not. Since we're telling the Planet Hulk story here, a World War Hulk movie would be cool. But then again, that's basically would take over for Infinity War, and we don't want that. We want Infinity War. Just give it to us. Come out already, please. Give us something this weekend, Marvel, at San Diego Comic-Con. Throw out a trailer. Throw out a little sizzle reel. Who cares? Please. Last I heard, Super Dragon was hurt. Yeah, I think so too. I think he hurt it. I think he did one PWG match maybe a year ago and hurt his leg or something like that. Let's see. Do you think we'll ever get a Marvel DC crossover? There was a Marvel DC crossover. There's 2, I think, back in the 90s and 80s. If you can go look it up, they're not bad comics by any means. You could probably find them at Barnes & Noble. I think that's where I found it the first time. But they're not bad comics by any means. Please, go read them. They're typical crossover, what you think it would be. Oh, these 2 heroes meet. These 2 heroes fight. Oh, wait, there's a bigger bad guy. Let's go fight him. Any Marvel DC crossover that's out there is that. Do you know what Marvel movie was the first to have any nudges to another superhero? In terms of Marvel Universe, like it was obviously Iron Man. Nudges to another superhero, I'm not sure. I know Blade probably didn't. X-Men might have something. I know there was that scene on YouTube going around forever ago where like Spider-Man shows up in the background of the X-Men. That might be something. But I know that's a deleted scene. What comic storyline should I start reading to get me into comics as a whole? Oh, it depends on what you like. Do you like superheroes? Do you like grim darkness? Do you like happiness and hope? It really depends on what you like. Just pick a character that you identify with most, that you most think that you've seen in cartoons or movies or something. Pick that character and go off on that character and look up. Hey, Alex, thanks for following. Look up that character's top 5 storylines. What's your favorite wrestling and non-wrestling video games? Favorite wrestling video game probably has to be SmackDown 1, because I say it all the time. I tell people, I don't know if I could learn another world like I know wrestling. And people ask me, how did you learn all the names of the moves? SmackDown 1 on PlayStation 1. SmackDown had the move names popped up as you do them, and the finishers would pop up gold as you do them. So it was always the coolest thing. So I would, instead of watching what I'm doing in the match, I'd hit a move, see the move, boom, what's the name? Oh, scoop slam, dope. And a lot of people call it a body slam, and to me it's, no, scoop slam. Hulk Hogan scoop slammed Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3. Thank you very much. What did somebody say? Have you ever tried to try out different designs for your mask? Yes, I have. I actually have a couple different designs. I have one split in half with the blues. I'm working on another one, and oops, sorry. And very soon, trust me, it's not going to be so blue. I'm going to go through a bunch of different colors and designs just because I can now. Oh, have you seen the movie Johnny Wants Someone to Do? And if so, will you do it, please? I haven't seen that movie, but I'll look it up. Sure. Everybody likes Deathstroke. I've seen Deathstroke mentioned like 3 times. Oh, my first favorite non-wrestling video game. Ooh, that's a hard one. I got The Last of Us when I first got my PS4, and that just completely changed my whole mindset on video games. If I'm going back, probably X-Men Academy 2 on the PlayStation 2 or PlayStation 1. It's a fighting game, kind of like Tekken, kind of like Marvel vs. Capcom. Favorite WrestleMania stage. You know what? When I think of wrestling stages, WrestleMania stage doesn't come to mind. Backlash stages come to mind. The Backlash stage with the pendulums swinging back and forth are the first thing I think of when I really think of wrestling stages. I remember the first comic I got into was Moon Knight. Moon Knight's really good right now, I've heard. I'll get into it, trust me, when it comes out, we'll talk about it on the show. But I definitely like that kind of broken mentality comic book character. Was Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle an inspiration for your character? I'll let you know a little secret. So the only thing that I've gotten from the Blue Beetle is this eye design, kind of. I kind of like that, so I took that from him. Jaime Reyes was probably the original, I guess, inspiration for this character. But once it was there, it took off into a bunch of different stuff. You know, I'm a big fan of Kamen Rider, so if you don't know that, go look it up. A lot of my design is Kamen Rider inspired, especially the suit. Did you watch Evo this weekend? I watched a couple fights from Evo this weekend. I think I mainly watched the big ones, the big final ones. Which pay-per-view stage did you hate most? I can't think of hating a pay-per-view stage, honestly. The WrestleMania stage, I want to say it's this last year with the ring on top. I was really bummed that they didn't use the ring on top for anything. I guess if you count that as not liking a stage. Getting tired, Beetle, going to sign off. It was fun. Have a good night, Dishonored. Thank you very much for stopping by. See you Sunday night. Yep, I'll be here Sunday night. Opinions on the recent Taya AAA situation. Taya, I've met Taya at Bar Wrestling. Super nice girl. Any chance there might be a Super Beetle Discord? Probably not anytime soon, honestly. But sorry, Taya, super nice girl. AAA, as much as a lot of people would love to work there, myself included, because it does have that story history and everything, something needs to change in AAA right now. It's going through something. It's going through something that's kind of toxic, obviously. A lot of wrestlers have spoken out to it, and I can't speak to it personally, so I won't. I just know that from the looks of things on the outside, something needs to change. What are your thoughts on the G1 special? What are everyone's thoughts on the G1 special? The G1 special is fantastic every year, and it will continue to be fantastic. And I obviously am asleep at that time because I work in the morning. But I watch the stuff in the morning, or I watch the stuff as soon as I get home. And the G1 special is just, that's what every wrestler aspires to get to, is to that level of competition. Oh, what is everyone? Where can I get the mask? Nowhere yet, but very soon you'll be able to get it. I still haven't picked somebody in the chat to win. Speaking of, let's look for someone to win this mask real quick. Not this mask, obviously. The masks that I give away, which admittedly are like a, not a toy version, but not this quality. You're gonna be able to breathe out of it a lot better than I can breathe out of this one. Trust me. The person that's gonna win the Super Beetle mask, the set of goggles, and the shirt. I knew I was giving away 3 things. I was like, what are the 3 things? Is okay. Now you bugs are just stacking the chat. So let's go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and we have Big Dog. There you are. Big Dog. I'm just going to call you Big Dog B because I'm not going to say it on my stream. Big Dog, you win the mask, the goggles, and the shirt. Big Dog. Hey, So it's a New Legacy thing. Shout out to Big Dog. So I'll contact you on Twitch and get your information and everything so I can start sending that over. It'll probably come separately just because my shirts get shipped from somewhere else. Guys, if you want a shirt, basically the only merch I have out for online sale right now, it's down in the bottom of the Twitch, or it's right there up at the top. I just remembered that. Canvas.com/stores/SuperBeetle is where I sell all my shirts. I don't have a pro wrestling tees yet because when I asked, hey, I got like 5,000 followers around everything now, pro wrestling tees, let me in, they were like, sorry, you need 10,000 followers for everything. So I obviously had to pull back, get a different shirt store. So yeah, that's where you can get my shirts. The shirts are great. I do have one. Thank you. Yeah, they're fantastic. They feel really nice. This isn't one of them. There's a blue one. There's a black one. There's a new black one up. For people that didn't like the little logo on the old black one, I've enlarged the logo, so now it takes up the whole center. So, Roman freaking Reigns every time. Absolutely. Come on, big dog. Wait, when did they change? I'm not sure when they changed it to 10K. Trust me, I was all excited. It was on my like yearly goals list. Like, we're gonna do 5K, and then I finally got to 5K across all social media. And I went and knocked on the door, and they told me I couldn't come and play. So, step back. Got to do it without pro wrestling tees. Still got to make that shirt money. Is there a Super Beetle action figure? Not yet, but I mean, hopefully. So, you guys want to see something? Okay, give me 1 second because there is something that. I'm gonna give her a shout out. Calypso Sage over in Pennsylvania, big Chikara fan. I think she actually helps out with Chikara a lot. She made me something. Give me 1 second. The first big thing a fan ever sent to me is this Super Beetle pop vinyl, and it's amazing. She made the box and everything. Somebody asked about designs. This was a design I ran with for one of my big matches. I was in a mask versus hair match back in February. But yeah, they made this pop design, this pop vinyl. I'll take it out too so you guys can see so you guys can see the detail on it because she did an amazing job. Calypso Sage is her name. I believe it's Leginger Ninja Designs over on Instagram. Oh, pop her out. There we go, Beetle. Check it out. Check out my tassels. They're amazing. That one can do a mohawk. I can't really do a mohawk. Tassels. She molded on the little horn. This little, her initials and the date that it was made. Super fantastic. Like, I'm so excited. But that's the closest thing I guess I have to a action figure, and it's one of one. I have the only one. And honestly, like, how could you not like that box? Boom. Boom, Super Beetle. Everywhere. So that was super cool. Somebody made me that. The G1 is in another hour and 30 minutes. Gosh, what are you bugs going to do for an hour and 30 minutes? I probably can't be here for an hour and 30 minutes, honestly. You got to figure out some other Twitch streamer. Not now yet. I'm still here for now. You can stay here. Is it up for sales? It's not up for sales. Sorry, there's just one of them. I know that these, like, the blank pop vinyls that she bought to make it, they cost like $40 a piece anyways. So that's crazy. I love that she went through all the detail in the box too. Yeah, so do I. The box is, like I said, the box is one of my favorite parts, and just to get like opening that in the mail was easily one of my happiest moments in wrestling. I almost cried. Super Beetle, you should go by Big Dog. I can't go by Big Dog yet. I haven't been on a New Legacy stream. Once I go on a New Legacy stream, then I could be Big Dog. I hope. Maybe Big Bug. Yeah? The Big Bug? This is the first time watching, and you are awesome. I come from the New Legacy stream. I hope you get to be on one of their streams soon. That way more people know you, and you'll get to 10K in a hurry. Thank you for coming. Trust me, like I've stuck around on New Legacy streams before and got rated and everything. Never thought that would happen to me, and I'm super happy that all you bugs came over and that you're enjoying it. That's the biggest thing. Sadly, it's not a day that I'm playing video games because I usually play video games. But Wednesdays are Beatles Comic Box. Sundays we stream from 12 to 2 Pacific Standard Time. That's just free play, and then Mondays at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we do Clearance Rack, where I go on Steam or PlayStation Store and buy a $10 or less game and just stream that and do this same thing, basically. Answer everybody's questions and hang out. Do you play Injustice 2? I play Injustice 1, that's for sure. Haven't got Injustice 2 yet. haven't had the time to put into Injustice 2. I heard the story mode was insane and super cool, and I just haven't been able to do it yet. What's your wrestling schedule right now? Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I wrestle all the time. The dates that I currently have are up there. I do have a couple other things that I can't announce yet that are coming up. But all the dates that are released are right up here, basically in Southern California. If you don't want me in Southern California, you want me somewhere else, tell your local promoters or tweet your local promotions like, hey, at Real Super Beetle on Instagram, at Real Super Beetle on Twitter. That's what did I say? Instagram and then tweet. On Instagram and Twitter, book this guy. Totally bring me out. How long have you been on the independent scene? I've been wrestling independently for about a year and 2 months now, honestly. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's the funnest thing. It's the best thing I've ever done in life. Let's see. How do you feel about the Kurt Angle situation on Raw? The Kurt Angle situation on Raw. And we're going to get real serious right now. Let me draw you in a little bit. Sorry if that mic movement hurts. The Kurt Angle situation on Raw is the funniest thing to happen on WWE television in a long time. And I think it's rightfully deserved because wrestling should be entertaining and it should be hilarious, just like what's happening now. Do you mind coming to Indiana? Do you mind coming to Indiana? I don't mind coming to Indiana at all. Who in Indiana wants to fly me out to come wrestle? That's different. Is your dad Real Super Beetle? No, my dad is actually, I don't know if you guys remember the old 90s TV show, Big Bad Beetleborgs. My dad is actually the Blue Beetleborg. So, there you go. Kurt Angle is Super Beetle's dad. No, let's not start that. Kurt Angle is not Super Beetle's dad. I am not a great Olympic wrestler. Trust me. You haven't seen... See, now it's a thing. Everybody says my dad's Kurt Angle. He's not. Trust me. I think I would know if my dad was Kurt Angle. Jason Jordan obviously knew that his dad was Kurt Angle. But I don't know that my dad Kurt Angle. Like I said, my dad, Big Bad Beetleborg. What's your favorite WWE Angle segment? There's a segment where him and Brock Lesnar, I think Brock Lesnar challenges him to do 1,000 push-ups or 100 push-ups or something like that, and he's just dying throughout it the whole time, and they go to commercial break, and he comes back, and he's like, all right, that's 100 push-ups, and Brock Lesnar's like, all right, and then doesn't do the push-ups and just like pushes them back. What's up, Game Boy? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for following. But that's my favorite Kurt Angle segment. Is your dad Shane McMahon? No, but shout out to Shane McMahon for surviving a helicopter crash today. That is insane. That bug is definitely, like, has a hard shell. What is everybody else saying? Rey Mysterio, Super Beetle's dad? You bugs are just thinking of wrestlers that I would love to have those skills and love to have that dad. But I told you already, my dad's the Blue Beetleborg. Didn't have that same thing. I had an uncle who was a ghost. Who was a ghost of like an old school Jay Leno thing. I don't even know what Flabber was on Beetleborgs. Well, maybe his mom is Kurt Angle or Eric Angle. Maybe my mom was not Kurt Angle or Eric Angle. Maybe she was a really nice lady. What's the riskiest spot you would be willing to take? It just depends. You gotta trust the person you're in there with, and you just have to. Laparca's chair is Super Beetle's dad. Yeah, why not? I'll take Laparca's chair. You really just gotta trust the person you're in there with, and honestly, if you're at a respectable promotion, you can pretty much trust whoever you're in there with, because you know they're not going to put you with someone that's unsafe or anything like that. Beetleborgs brings me back. Me too. Your thoughts on Player Uno and Player Dos? Player Uno is not a good person right now. He's kind of a meaner. Will you do a moonsault off the couch? If I could, but I don't think I can. There's not enough room right here. I mean, I totally could. I can double moonsault off the couch, but there's probably not enough room. Just in terms of my wrestling career, that probably wouldn't be good. Would you ever wrestle for IWA Mid-South? Of course I would. CM Punk wrestled for that place. That place is awesome, as far as I've heard CM Punk-wise. Is your dad Chavo Guerrero? Probably botched the last name. No, my dad is not Chavo Guerrero. Met Chavo Guerrero. Like, you ever seen like walking professionalism or walking knowledge come into a room, and you're just like, that guy knows stuff. That's what it felt like Chavo Guerrero the first time I met Chavo Guerrero. He's evil. Everything is evil. True. Player Uno is evil. At least that's who I assume we're talking about still. Uh, is your dad Pepe the Horse? I don't know who Pepe the Horse is. Isn't the frog Pepe? Isn't there a Pepe the Frog? You just got booked for Wrestle Circus. Check your Twitter. Did I? Did Wrestle Circus book me? Let's check. Wrestle Circus hasn't hit me up. Everybody's saying I should book Wrestle Circus, or I should be booked in Wrestle Circus. They actually just posted a hey, any wrestler want to get booked? So I think I'll do that. I think I'll throw my name in the hat. I don't got anything going on August 5th. Let's do this Wrestle Circus. Plus, I know Brody King, and he's a really nice bug too. So good friends with Brody King and Jake Atlas. Jake Atlas also did a tryout match for Wrestle Circus a couple weeks ago. Can you do a double, triple 360 splash? I don't know if you've ever seen my my creator wrestler on WWE 2K17, but he can definitely do a double, triple 630 splash. You just gotta set it on him because I don't think it's set there as default. Everyone just keeps saying I got booked for Wrestle Circus. You should thank me. Thank you, Jobbers United. If I'm on Wrestle Circus, thank you. I will check my Twitter once we get off because I don't see it just popping up right now. Tell them you don't want to get booked. Reverse psychology. I've seen someone do that before. I've definitely seen a wrestler come in and go, you know what? I don't need this show. And then the booker of the show said, all right, we will take you. Opinions on Teddy Hart. You bugs want to hear a really funny Teddy Hart story? So there's this promotion down here called Pacific Coast Wrestling in Southern California. And they booked Teddy Hart for a show. And I was working ring crew for that show, and Teddy Hart showed up late to the show. So by the time Teddy Hart showed up, there was like no way they could still book him because the matches had already been set by that point. He showed up maybe halfway through the show. I think he got into some flight trouble or something like that. So he shows up late to the show, and they had booked a triple threat, or they had decided to go with a triple threat, and they said, sorry, triple threat's full. So Teddy Hart, I wasn't in the back, so I don't know what happened. It looks like he came barging out of the back. He goes to his car. He gets his cat. Teddy Hart grabs his cat. Teddy Hart comes out to the crowd, sits in the crowd, stands in the crowd actually, and is petting his cat the whole time. Suddenly, at the drop of a hat, no one is paying attention to this match in the ring. And everyone is looking at Teddy Hart. Everyone comes over. Everyone wants to pet the cat. Mind you, this is not a small indie show. There was maybe 300, 400 people there. And instead of watching people who were in the ring, I even forgot who was in the ring. I can't tell you who was in the ring right now. You could probably go back and find it on their DVDs. Everyone's looking at Teddy Hart and his cat. And everyone's asking the cat questions. And Teddy Hart's flipping the cat. And it was the most insane thing I've ever seen at a wrestling show. Let's see. What music are you into? I'm into lots of music. Anything that plays on the radio, honestly, I really like. I've been listening to a lot of Childish Gambino lately. Powerline from the Goofy movie was my jam last night. I was playing that over and over again. If you have me on Twitter, I posted a gif of it. And trust me, that wasn't out of nowhere. Powerline was on my radio. Teddy Hart's cat is a draw, brother. Can I call you brother? Yeah, you can call me brother. You can also call me Bug, because that's what I call you. As much as New Japan is on fire right now, do you think New Japan will die just like WWE? WCW, no respect New Japan. No, not at all. New Japan will not die like WCW. It's a completely different product, completely different style. It's not just an alternative to WWE. It is literally another form of wrestling. If WWE wants to be entertainment, New Japan still calls themselves pro wrestling, and they still are pro wrestling, and they're on a different side of the country. The WWE has a market there, and just doesn't have that market drive like New Japan. Do you have any tattoos? I don't have any tattoos. This bug is I don't have that level of commitment, honestly. If I want a tattoo, I'll put it on a t-shirt. But tattoos on people, awesome, love them. I just don't have the time. Well, I'm gonna go now for the G1. If you're still streaming, I'll be back. Say goodbye. Aw, bye, Bug Dog. Thanks. The Tony. Oh, that one anime family. The Tony. I was totally wrong on that. Ooh, what else do people say? What else do bugs say? Let's see. A lot of talk about Teddy Hart's cat. You're welcome for that story. It was probably my first 4 or 5 months into wrestling. I was just really excited to see Teddy Hart's cat, and because I've heard stories about him, and all the stories are true. He does the flips and everything. You're just a beetle. A tattoo needle would smash you. Probably, honestly. I don't have that thick of skin. I bruise pretty easy. As you can, when I get chopped. If you ever see me get chopped in a match, just know like, ooh, he probably bruised from that. He has a Mike Tyson, and that's why he has a mask. That would honestly be a really good reason to wear a mask. If I had the whole Mike Tyson tattoo, you might be able to see it. No? Can you see it? No? All right, don't worry. Don't have Mike Tyson. Mr. Money, is that the cat's name? I think I remember it being Mr. Money, but I can't remember exactly. I just remember that cat did a moonsault, and I was like, yeah, all right, I understand now. I understand the stories. McGregor or Mayweather? I think I want McGregor. I'm in the absolute majority, I would say, of wanting McGregor, but I think Mayweather is gonna win. Only time will tell, and people will buy that fight, and they'll make way more money than I'll ever make in my wrestling career. But it's gonna happen. You've seen the video game where Green Phantom basically killing El Generico. Have not seen that video game. Oh, video. It's just a video, not a video game. No, have not seen that video. Kenta Kobashi or Misawa? I really like Kenta Kobashi. Yeah. There's nothing else I could say. Like, you can argue for both of them. But personally, I like Kenta. Oh, everybody's going to bed. Let's see how many people are still in here. Because that amazes me. If we have more than 5. Yep. A lot more than 5. Huh. A whole lot more than 5. Yeah. You know what's funny? Razorhawk missed out. Because I got asked a lot of times, hey, is Razorhawk, me and Razorhawk from Chikara, a little bromance on Twitch going. And everybody has, hey, is Razorhawk coming tonight? And I'm like, I don't know. We'll see. He came to the last one. Didn't come to this one. Look, now we have all these bugs following. Favorite all-time match. Favorite all-time match. Oh, it's weird because like we get a lot of stuff not ruined for us because of the internet, but obviously like I go on Reddit. I know a bunch of you bugs go on Reddit. I love Reddit, and I go on it a lot just to see what's happening in the wrestling world. This is before all that. Before all that, John Cena and Shawn Michaels had a match in London a couple weeks after WrestleMania. What's up, Meth Tiger? Weird name. A couple weeks after WrestleMania. And it was advertised as Shawn Michaels would, I think he would lose his title match if he lost. And throughout the match, they kept saying like, "Oh, stay tuned. We got this match up next. This match up next." And they went for like 45 minutes to an hour. And I just remember as a kid watching that match and being like, "Oh my gosh, is Shawn gonna do it? Is Shawn gonna get his title match? What's happening? Why are they going so long? Something's got to give. These two are fighting back and forth." Yeah, that was the really long Cena and Michaels match on Raw, and I don't remember it. Like I only remember one move, and it's the first time I'd ever seen it happen. Cena goes for the attitude adjustment, and Michaels lands on his feet. First time I'd ever seen that, and that blew my mind. I was like, "Whoa!" Hits the Sweet Chin music, and just instead of like, Shawn Michaels does something really well, and that's when he hits that Sweet Chin music, and he's really tired. He just falls on top of the person and pins them, and I love that. And that's what happened. He's landed on his feet, hit the Sweet Chin music, and just fell and pinned Cena. And 1, 2, 3, and it was like, that was one of it. I don't remember if it was a great wrestling match. I will admit that. I don't remember if it was a great wrestling match. It was my favorite match of all time because I remember how I felt during it the entire time. Edge versus Foley at WrestleMania was one of the first matches I ever saw, and it made me fall in love with wrestling. Edge versus Foley. They're like, you watch these matches, and you can still watch them today, and they're magic. You can feel that. It's electrifying running through you. Favorite wrestler of all time, Shawn Michaels. Mine too. Hey. Bug, we match. Shawn Michaels and Steve Blackman. Shawn Michaels, Steve Blackman, Evie. My trinity of wrestling. Can I post a link to a video I would like you to watch? Of course, I'll go back and watch it. I watched Michaels versus Cena recently and can confirm it's still amazing. Good. I'm glad that it wasn't just like, because if it was a terrible match and it was my favorite match of all time, then it'd be a different story. But I'm really glad that match holds up. That was one of the Raw matches as a kid that was stuck in my mind. HBK was a favorite back then. He absolutely, like I said, and I can still name that match right now. When you ask me what my favorite match is, it's not a question, because I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. I was like, they have to end the match soon. They have a ton more matches coming up, and they didn't do those matches. They just sold it like these guys are going. We're not stopping Raw because these guys haven't ended yet. There's so much on the line right now. The Mania match was still pretty good too. Absolutely. Any Shawn Michaels Mania match, go back and watch and try to say it's not good. Shawn Michaels versus Diesel at Mania is still good. It's the Green Phantom kills Generico twice. Dope. I'll watch it. My favorite year in wrestling. So I think to answer that, I have to go back and answer like how I started watching wrestling, and people are gonna correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was 98 or 99. I was being babysat by my uncle. He turns on wrestling because he was a wrestling fan forever. He loves wrestling, and he turns on wrestling, and the first thing I see as a small impressionable child is Stone Cold getting ran over by a car. It was the Raw after Survivor Series when Stone Cold got ran over by a car, and they were showing a replay of it. And I just remember thinking, what just happened? That was murder on TV. Like they presented it as real. It looked like I was watching the news, and this man just got hit by a car, and I was like, I don't understand. Why are we watching this? I can't look away. That is my first memory of wrestling. That was the first time I'd ever seen wrestling. My whole first year of wrestling didn't have Stone Cold Steve Austin in it. The Rock was the man when I started watching wrestling. Rikishi did it for The Rock. Rikishi also did it for the Beetle. Because that right there is the reason the Beetle is here today. Because that just shot my mind into a whole different universe. The WWE universe. That just shot my mind in a whole different direction. And I was like, what? This is like Roman attempting to kill Braun. Exactly. If that would have been turned on, I would have been like, why is this happening? Why are we watching this? This shouldn't be the news. And yeah. So that was my first wrestling memory. So that was probably my favorite year of wrestling, was just discovering everything. And then all the other stuff started coming. I was like, Scotty 2 Hotty, too cool, the Worm, this is kind of dope. And then Steve Blackman's got a kendo stick. He just hits people with it. That's cool. Whatevs. You just take wrestling for what it's worth when you're first finding on it. You don't ask questions. You're just like, yep, that's wrestling. Everyone's giving their first memories. This is kind of cool. Let me read some. Let's see. Earliest memory is stumbling upon SmackDown and watching Dominic Ray's kid nearly be abducted. I was so mesmerized. That's what I'm talking about. It's just a car crash that you can't turn away from. My first wrestling memory is SummerSlam 2000. Too Cool versus TLC. The TLC... Oh, versus RTC. Then the TLC match. Then Stinkface match. Taker Kane. Rock versus Triple H versus Angle. I remember... The first time I remember being really angry at wrestling is when Rock lost to Brock at SummerSlam. And I remember being a kid, we used to have SummerSlam parties after that. Or we used to have parties for the big 4 pay-per-views at that point. And I remember everybody booing The Rock, and I was like, what? Why? No, stop doing that. This is The Rock. This is the man. And like I said, before Reddit, before I knew all the internet wrestling and the dirt sheets and everything, I was like, this is the man. This is The Rock. How are you booing him? Why do you want Brock to win? And it was less of like, why are you booing The Rock? And it was more of, why do you want Brock to win? Brock is the worst. He took off Zach Gowen's leg. What's happening? And so I remember The Rock losing, being really sad. And The Rock standing up and looking around and still being booed by everyone. And that's the first time I remember being legitimately angry at wrestling. I was like, how could everyone turn against The Rock? What are these people doing? Why? And then The Rock came back as Hollywood Rock, and I was like, oh yeah, The Rock sucks. Never mind. He's a jerk. Obviously, the people knew this beforehand. Brock disrespected Ric Flair. Brock disrespected everyone. You remember when he wiped Hogan's blood on his chest, and you're just like, Brock Lesnar. Why? Stop that. My first memory was Jeff Hardy versus Undertaker in their ladder match. When he pats his head after that ladder match, Little Beetle was a smirk. Little Beetle was definitely a smirk without the internet side. When Undertaker pats Jeff's head after the ladder match instead of hitting him, it's such a gratifying feeling. I found wrestling through video games. The first game I played was WWF Royal Rumble for Sega Genesis. I remember choosing Undertaker because he looked like Michael Jackson because he had a hat. The rest is history. The Undertaker is my favorite of all time to this day, 15 years later. There's not even anything else I can say about that. That's fantastic. The Undertaker looks like Michael Jackson. That is what I'm going to take away from this stream, and I'll remember it for the rest of my bug years. My first wrestling memory was TLC 3 on SmackDown. That's dope. It's funny because favorite wrestling video game, go. I was just going to tell the story. Sorry. Favorite wrestling video game, my dad, Papa Bug, had bought me No Mercy for Christmas one year on the N64. And I was like, dope. This is what all the bugs are talking about. I'm going to play this game. I'm going to get really good at it. I'm going to go out there. What's up, Alyssa? How you doing? I'm going to go out there and I'm going to beat everyone at No Mercy on 64. This is going to be insane. I open No Mercy 64. Mama Bug sees it. Mama Bug has heard about this game somewhere. I don't know where. Mama Bug must have been checking the dirt sheets or something. But she is super angry that this game has blood in it. She said, "What? You bought him a game with blood? Take it back." Papa Bear ended up taking back No Mercy. He ended up buying me a different wrestling game that didn't have blood. I don't remember if it actually had blood or not. I just remember he said it didn't have blood. And I was not a WCW bug at the time, or ever. From what I know from WCW is from WWE rewriting history, and then this right here. Papa Bug brought back WCW Mayhem for the N64, and I was so confused with what was happening. I didn't know who Goldberg was. I knew who Hulk Hogan was because obviously WWE, but I just remember WCW Mayhem, Gorilla Press. Like, Gorilla Press rings in my mind even now. Like, I'm during a match, I'm like, oh, I'm in a tight spot. What can I do? Gorilla Press! And then I try to do a Gorilla Press, and it doesn't work because I'm usually facing people 10 times bigger than me. But yeah, that was my only wrestling game at the time. So I played Mayhem for hours on end, and figured out that Goldberg does a really cool jackhammer, but I can't figure out how to do it because I never knew how to do finishers in Mayhem. So that was my favorite wrestling game. Probably would have been No Mercy, but instead it was Mayhem. What's up, Best in the World 25? You're like the 25th CM Punk. Best. Oh no, you're best in the world with an N. Earliest memory is Battle of the Billionaires and the Benoit thing in 2007. Battle of the Billionaires was cool. I mean, in retrospect, now probably not cool. Back then, super cool. You can turn blood off, Mama Bug. Please go back 15 years and tell her that. I don't even want to talk about it. It's one of my saddest moments. I was so happy that I got No Mercy because all my friends had No Mercy. Jim Ross looks like Michael Jackson because he wears a hat. That one's good too. Back when it was really cool. It's still really cool, Bugs. And that's... Okay, well, we're going to wrap it up with this. Go enjoy the G1. Go enjoy Battleground this Sunday. Go enjoy Comic-Con. Go enjoy Desert Pro if you'll be out there. I'll see you out there. Go enjoy Raw. Go enjoy SmackDown. And then all the way up to SummerSlam. Enjoy it. And enjoy it far past SummerSlam. Because what we're doing here, what we're doing on the weekends, all this is us having fun. Wrestling is us having fun. Enjoy life. Like NL Universe said. Go enjoy life. Because life should just be us having fun. And it's not always fun, but I can guarantee you when it's not fun, you can come back to wrestling and find fun in wrestling. Your dad says it's fake. Poopy Dickens. Your dad says it's fake. Guess what? Anything else I watch on TV is fake. Anything else you watch on TV is fake. All the comic books we just talked about, all the movies we just talked about is fake. You know what's not fake? The way I felt when Shawn Michaels landed on his feet and superkicked John Cena. The way everyone else felt when Edge speared Mick Foley through that flaming table. And that's what it's all about. If you don't enjoy wrestling, if you don't enjoy anything else, at least find something that makes you feel something. Period. And that's it. Go out there and feel something. Bugs, thank you so much for coming out. Thank you so much for rating this stream. I went on an hour longer than I thought I was going to. Go follow me on Instagram and Twitter at RealSuperBeetle. You want to pick up shirts? You want to check out the YouTube? Links are all down on the Twitch page. I will see you back here Sunday, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for free play. If you want to come, please come out, join, talk. Love you, Beetle. I love you, Bugs. And honestly, you've made this the best stream so far, and I hope to have so many more like this, because that was insane. And next time, don't worry, we'll be playing video games instead of talking comics. I will hit up Big Dog on Twitch right after this, because he won all this stuff. Stick around. We're going to have a ton more giveaways. I do giveaways all the time. I give away, on Clearance Rack, I give away the video game we're playing. So we'll do that. Bugs, have a fantastic weekend. Say goodbye to everybody in the chat. I'm going to say goodbye to you here. Good night.